the dollar CAD for September the 28th. As you see from last week, the plan was a buy above the 107.81, and the dollar did come back and trade above the 107.81 right in the middle of the week, and the trade was taken. And for this week, the dollar CAD closed at 109, which is above about 120 pips above our entry point. Our stop is still below the 107.81, and we should be maintaining our long bias versus in the dollar CAD. And the only concern that I have for the time being is that we just closed maybe about 15 pips below the prior week's high. It is still a positive close. It is a strong close, and by no means it is an indication for us to get out of our long position, and we'll be looking for a continuation to the upside. Probably the key test would be these lows over here. So we can consider these as our structural lows, and that is the 109. And as I said, the key number here is now the structure number is the 109.27, and as you can see, since it was a structure, it is a structural point. When we broke below it, we should have had this major capitulation to the low of 2000H, which we did not have over here. We did reverse and come back above the 107.81, and we have traded and tested above the 109.27, only to close about 10 pips or 15 pips below that. So if we trade again back up again above the 109.27, this should be our expectation. We should be looking for a major move into the dollar CAD to the upside. So our structural buy in the dollar CAD is the 109.27, and we will be maintaining our long bias from the dollar CAD. So on the daily chart, these were all our buy signals from last week, and as I said, we're going to put our structural point, the 109. We did have a strong close, as you see. The only thing that I have with the close of this week is we did just come back and trade below those, and as you see, this is our 129.27. You can see how precise this number has been working. So going forward, again, it was the high of the beginning of the week. It was also the high back in August, and it also was the lows back in June. So it has been quite significant, and when the prices repelled back from it, it wasn't that was that 10 pips. If you compare those 10 pips decline in the dollar Swiss and the dollar CAD in comparison to the sell-off that we had, the major sell-off that we had in the dollar yen, you will see that in reality is quite a very positive close. So our buy signal in the dollar CAD again would be above a trade above the 109.27. These are the trades from last week in the dollar CAD. That was the buy. That was the start of the trade at the 107.42, and the trade was closed above the 108, and we are still maintaining, and that was the second trade that we took to the continuation. All these blue lines are the buys. So we will I'll put my structural points in the radar screen. So our structure point now is 109.27. That is our structural buy, and our long point from last week is the 107.18. This is where we are at. We bought it at. So I'm going to actually put this as the same as the 109.27 because our structure long is also our buying point. So with that, I'm just entering my that's our structure buy and a structure. And as you see right there, this is where the 109.27 is at, and it is also it's in the center of the US range. So what we'll be looking at, any push out to the downside out of the Tokyo session, I will not take the shorts. So what we are going to do is, in our strategy, we are going to say selling short is off. We're not going to be taking the shorts out of the session. We will only be taking the buys, especially if it gets above the the 109.27. So I'm not taking the short out of the Tokyo session. Rather, I will take the buy, specifically if it opens above the 109. The second short I might take. So if I wanted to go short the dollar CAD, I would be shorting it below the significant point, which is the 108.52. So my short on the dollar CAD is the 108.52. So I'm going to put here my short 108.52. And this way, and make sure you guys enter all these numbers on your radar screen, because once you have the radar screen in front of you, you know where your long point is, where your short point is, and your structure, and they will turn red and green and to tell you that this is now is the trade, or what you should be what trade you should be taking. So if you look at from the dollar CAD, our buy was the 107. We closed now at the 109, so that's 150 pips. The same thing with the dollar Swiss, and the short in the dollar yen was 91.73. It closed at 89.60, so you're up 200 pips on that. So by putting the radar screen on with the numbers, you know exactly where you're going to go long and exactly where you're going to go short, and these are the winning trades that you want to be taking in. If the prices are above a significant point or above a buying point, there is no reason for you to go short, or no reason for you to take a counter trend move. You're only looking to be trading again in the same direction of the significant point or the structural point.